Hello, everybody. Just getting a few last-minute technical details under control. Sorry, we're a little bit late. Welcome to Moohead Radio. This is Friday, and that means we're getting prepared for another NFL game this weekend, this time against the New York Jets. We'll be talking about that. Joining me is Bronk in merry old England. How you doing, Bronk?
Oh, I had a frame just fall on my broken ankle.
Aren't you lucky?
5 minutes before the show started. So
Such a lucky guy.
I'm in pain.
Well, I'm sitting here trying to figure out, if anybody is even in the chat room.
Well, I mean, this is a boutique program.
No, it isn't just that. It's just
boutique.
It's been fraught with technical difficulties from the get-go here. And I was having a lot of problems earlier on trying to get my sound squared away. So go figure what's going on. And there's II. So obviously, thank you, II, for putting something in the chat room. So I know that at least we are broadcasting out in YouTube. So here's what it amounts to. Here we go again. A week where three of the ESPN experts have picked the Jets to win.
Really?
Yes.
Seriously?
Wow. Again, there's so much, I mean, watching television, I've stopped because it's like they just say, who is what team has it been the longest since they started out a season 2-0, and you're sitting there going, it's the Browns. It's the Browns because that's why they're bringing it up. It's like, why do you suck my dick? Suck my fucking dick all the way to the nutsack. I mean, fuck these people. I mean, you just can't get around it. Anything that you say, anything that you do, if your quarterback has issues, well, if you're a Steeler fan, you embrace him and you win Super Bowls. If you're Cleveland fans, you're bitching about Brownie the Elf. Fuck yourselves. Would you grow up, please? You are not the business. You are not in the game. You're just a spectator.
Art Modell got rid of Brownie the Elf, and that was the last time we won a fucking championship. So I don't want to hear about people bitching about Brownie the Elf.
Well, and the thing is, it's like, I'm sure that if they didn't dredge the elf's corpse from the garbage pile, that Jimmy Haslam and his team have the ability to come up with some great new logo. I mean, give me a break.
You're idiots.
Come on.
Did you see that thing that they were doing for the in between the third and fourth quarter? They were going to choose a song, and then they had a vote. And one of the songs was like Uptown Girl. The other one was Tiny Dancer. And I forget what the two other ones were, but it was like, what the absolute fuck? I mean...
Yeah, to me, it's like everything else in the world divided. And if they'd have put, the only thing I wish that they would do is have a rotating image on the field of every so-called fan who abandoned the franchise, and it would be their mother with their legs spread with her muff showing. All right? Wow. That would be what I would go for. I mean, I get so tired of why the standard is different. I mean, hey, we got to get Big Ben out here. Big Ben out. Big Ben was a rapist. He dragged a woman with her feet into a men's room with a bunch of guys waiting to take turns with her. Okay? Oh, that's Big Ben. We got to have him back. Yeah. And you look around the league, it's like the Minnesota Vikings. Oh, we got Adrian Peterson. He beats his son's balls raw with a switch, but hey, he's coming back.
You know what you never hear about? The Vikings boat trip. Remember that? You never hear about that anymore.
No. I mean, it's like their fans instantly forgive. All right. And what's really funny is listening to fans saying, I've made a moral decision not to watch the Browns anymore.
Hey, you know what? I understand when fans would have quit the team when we were like 1-31 or whatever it was we were. That makes sense to me because you're not being entertained because we were getting beat 36-5 every week and it was shit and it was unwatchable. But now that we have sort of like a watchable team and we have a chance to win every game, I don't get it, you know?
Well, I do get it. And what it is that the people who are doing this are far right-wing people. I will guarantee you, or far left-wing people. Oh, the women, we're promoting the women's cause. What have you done, really, to promote the woman's cause in America?
Well, you know, if there were women's causes, there wouldn't be cheerleaders out there for half the NFL teams, would there be?
No. Here's another good one. It's like, you know, I care about those women, 24 women that Deshaun Watson did this to, and shut the fuck up, honey, and cook my dinner. I just have a problem with this. A moral dilemma. You know, give me a break. Like Ohio is the progressive thinking capital of America.
Wow.
Make that stop. Like right fucking now.
It's a red state,
like morality. You know what it is? If you don't want to watch, don't watch.
Correct.
But stop talking about it. If it's out of your life, it's out of my life. Wait, I have to do this.
Great song.
It's out of my life. Dumb Jimmy Haslam and foolish pride. Yeah. If you're done, you're done. I get it. But don't leave 14 times. It's like a little fucking child. Make that stop.
Some Browns fans have had more comebacks than Elvis, Frank Sinatra, and James Brown put together, you know?
Yeah, it's like I said. If you left when LeBron left, don't come back.
Right. Yeah.
You know? It's like, don't come back and say, hey, we're pretty good now. It's not we. It's not we. It's not inclusive. You know? I'm making a moral decision, and that moral decision is not to recognize you anymore. You know, that's my moral decision. It's just, you know, and the pregame festivity starts with our 4th round pick, Perryon Winfrey, absent today for disciplinary reasons.
Oh, what'd he do?
Well, we don't know exactly what he did, but I can tell you how the organization handled it, and I find it to be actually an intelligent way of handling something, which means Jimmy Haslam had nothing to do with it, okay? Myles Garrett was put before the press to explain to the press why Perryon Winfrey was absent today for disciplinary reasons. Mm-hmm. And what he basically said was really very telling, although it didn't say what he did. I'll quote Myles Garrett. Oh, here's Coach Wilson. Hey, Coach, welcome to the show.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Oh, it's always a pleasure.
Yeah.
Every
time I hear that name, Coach Wilson, I think, drop it, give me 20, you know?
No, it's like, it reminds me of Castaway. Wilson! Yeah. Yep. You have big balls. No, forget it, Coach Wilson.
Or Dennis the Menace.
Yeah. Yeah. Mr. Wilson, yeah. So here's the quote from Myles Garrett. I think we all have to step up and say something, but sometimes silence speaks louder than words. Okay. We've used our voice a couple of times, and at the end of the day, he's got to learn how to be a pro. Kevin took it into his own hands, and he felt like that was the right thing to do, and I'm behind my coach's actions totally. Perryon Winfrey is a head case. Perryon Winfrey dropped to the 4th round because he's a problem. And there were, you know, and I do check the internet out. I don't believe everything I read. And, you know, there were a few askance references about what may have happened. And I don't want to even do the what it might be thing. But I'm not going to even say because it's not part and parcel of truth. What I can say is if team members have had to use their voice a couple of times with him and he wasn't listening, then they all shrug their shoulders and say, well, we're going to move on without him because we have a season of football to play. It makes me believe that Perryon Winfrey is a guy who was abnormally strong and in college could fuck around and do whatever he wanted at Oklahoma and not learn the proper techniques, and that he's not working hard, and that he is showing up late, I would imagine, to practices, and that his head isn't into it. And there's no time for that. And I don't care how talented he is, he's going to get blown up on the field because he's not working hard enough. Yeah. So right off the bat, Perryon Winfrey is, and there's no word whether he's going to play or not. But if it's like this, no, he shouldn't play. And it just makes me go back and think. It's like, when you're drafting and you're doing the whole, statistical kind of formulations that the analytics people do. Yeah. And Perryon Winfrey still on the board in the 4th round. You say, oh, what a steal. Yeah. You may have still been able to get a wide receiver. Okay. Yeah. I mean, it's possible. And instead,
one better than Schwartz, at least.
Right. I mean,
he's getting better. God damn it. He's getting better. He's
true.
Better. He's getting better. Just keep saying it. He'll get better. He'll get better.
Yeah, but they tried implanting a GPS system that pointed him toward the proper goal line. Wow. Getting better. I've never seen a guy with bad hands get better. I've never seen a receiver who had a bad case of the drops and did not have good hands, and when he was in college, throughout his college career, ever get better. It just doesn't work that way. Wish it did.
Anyway, I'll give him credit for making that catch. But,
he won the game.
But he's still, you could tell by the way he went down to the ground, he's still afraid to get hit. That's not going to pay off in the long run.
What happened there? I mean, he caught the ball. He was stretched out. It's like, it's like, get to the ground. It was like, one of those war movies where they jump in the foxhole to evade the hand grenade. There's no evidence on any of the end arounds that he does anything but run out of bounds. He never cuts it back up the field.
He's smart, though, isn't he?
He gets paid for doing nothing. Yeah, he's smart. But no, I mean, isn't the idea of being fast that you want the open field, you want to cut back, and you want to outrun people you see daylight, you hit daylight? No, he doesn't want to do it.
That's old school.
He runs out of bounds, and he reminds me of Franco Harris, the biggest coward who ever played football at running back. Look at the length and durability of Franco. Franco ran out of bounds.
Drew Pearson and Franco Harris spend all their games out of bounds.
Yeah, and these Steeler fans were like, he's better than Jim Brown, with stupidity coming out of your mouth, you need something coming in your mouth, Steeler fan.
Wow.
God, make that stop. Fucking nose pickers. But no, there are guys who are tough. Yeah. There are guys who are not. There are guys who are engaged, Mike Singletary, guys who are wide-eyed and engaged. And then there's obviously the Perryon Winfreys of the world who, aren't really engaged in what they're doing. And you can't rely on him. We're going to move on without it. And don't be surprised if they just, if this is the big slap on the wrist, this public humiliation, if he doesn't get the point after this, he's not going to be on the team anymore.
I mean, how many times do we have to draft these projects in the 4th round that were quote unquote first round talent and drop to there's been thousands of them. There's been Callaway, we can say Schwartz now, we can say Winfrey, we could say, we overdrafted on fucking Josh Gordon, but all these guys seem to drop to that round
projects,
and then they get taken then. It's amazing.
Well, and I don't have any updated injury report. As far as Jack Conklin, we know that he did not play on Thursday in practice. He did not practice. Amari Cooper was full practice as of yesterday. Chris Hubbard did not practice. And the thing that's amazing about Chris Hubbard is that I can't remember the last time he was healthy. And, God forbid, if he gets COVID, he's going to die because he obviously has multiple comorbidities on a football field.
I think Bill Hubbard is healthier.
Guys, keeping it real, folks. Isaiah Thomas, full practice on Thursday. Mike Woods was back yesterday, so we're hoping at wide receiver that he can sit on the bench, which is what he'll do.
Which Woods is that? Is that number 3, 4, 5, 6? Mike Woods?
Mike, as far as on the depth chart?
No, I mean like his number. He's like
I don't even know because since the first week of practice in preseason, he didn't play because he got hurt. Yeah, so that's that. But they're expecting that he technically would be able to play, but I don't think he's ready in any way mentally.
He's not out of the woods yet.
Exactly. Yeah, and Njoku was away on personal business, and then he wasn't feeling well. And but I don't have an update. If anybody in the chat room has an update on any of these people, I am more than happy to talk about that on the air. As for the New York Jets, Zach Wilson isn't going to play. It's going to be the statue. What's his name?
Flacco.
Ah, yeah, that's right. He's going to need a Flacco jacket.
Flacco jacket. Oh.
Yeah. I mean, if the same thing happens to him that happened last week, he threw 59 times.
59 times?
Last week. Yep.
And his arm didn't fall off. Wow.
No, but the thing that's really interesting, they only rushed the ball like 24 times.
Wow.
And they couldn't run the ball. And the problem that the Jets have had up to this point is that what was already an iffy offensive line has kind of become worse with injuries. So if it's a swinging door out there and they can't run the football, that forces Joe Flacco to go back and pass, and he is not mobile.
Well, they played the Ravens last week, so half the team's probably injured.
Well, yeah, and they are a bit faster and more aggressive on defense than the Cleveland Browns are. So, whatever. But that's the. But until they come out with the final injury reports, I'm not going to get overly excited about this. Greg Newsome was talking, saying that this week the defense is focusing on miscommunications that resulted in big plays in week 1. It would have been nice.
More of them?
No, I mean, it would have been nice if he would have really prioritized that before the fucking first game. I mean, wouldn't that be nice?
Wow.
I hate the stating of the obvious. It's like, so what did you work on? Just trying to figure out who I'm supposed to cover? Okay, thanks, Greg.
Well, it's not like the crowd noise got in the way because they were in Carolina, so.
Not only that, but it's like, it's not like a situation where I got nothing to worry about because I got Grant Delpit behind me. No, don't be so sure about that. Oh,
Zendejo. I think I said that last Friday that we were going to have a Zendejo, but that's hardly a great prediction.
No, I mean, it makes you almost wish for the old days that Jabril Peppers was standing 40 yards off the line of scrimmage. So at least somebody would be back there, like Miles Straw, the center fielder of the Browns defense, to be able to. But obviously, the first week, giving up 2 plays like that would have been the end of the Browns if they were playing virtually anybody else, but a low-tier team. And the Jets are also a low-tier team, but you want to get it cleaned up because you want Joe Flacco to get into a situation where without a running game, he's got to throw the football because we know this about Flacco.
Yeah.
He's not only is he not mobile, that when you pressure him right up the middle, he throws off his back foot. And that's when he throws interceptions. And when he throws them, they come in bunches. And that's what we want to do. We want to force them into a situation where they're getting 3 and outs and we can dominate possession. And look, it was funny. All I heard from Cleveland personnel, it's like, Jacoby Brissett realizes that he could have done better. He should do better. And we think he will do better. And that's all well and good. But his history says he can't. He won't. Is who we thought he was.
It is what it is.
Yeah, he's a guy who's not going to turn the ball over. He's a guy who's going to check down, and he's not a guy who's going to make big plays with his legs. He's not going to be accurate throwing the long ball down the field. That's all. That's who he is. And so why complain? Why complain about it? That's what we got. We got to run the football like we did week 1. And if we can, and the difference is that Salah's defense is very, very proactive compared to the Panthers, who have last year were a good defensive team, but the Jets are more of an attacking defense. Right. And you're going to see a whole lot more speed and a whole lot more running to the ball. And you're going to also see them come after Jacoby Brissett in passing situations. What this means to me, if they are trying too hard and they overcommit, screen passes are important to Kareem Hunt. That would be a smart thing to do. And if they are selling out on defense to try to make big defensive plays, there's going to be, like there was against the Panthers, there's going to be 2 or 3 opportunities to get a guy down the field. You got to hit those throws. You got to make those plays.
Yeah.
That's what it comes down to.
It's going to be a hot, sunny day there. It's going to be at least as hot as it was in Carolina last week. So I just looked at the weather. So it's going to be a warm day out in the field. So they'll have to spell Myles Garrett for half the plays so that he's not gasping for air.
And nothing's an easy game in the NFL. And
correct.
And, I would say, hey, we have home field advantage, but the fans will show up, will pay to boo. That's correct. What we have right now is they will pay to start cheering the other team and, or just vacate the stadium when they feel like leaving. So I've never felt that we've ever had an advantage at Cleveland Browns Stadium, at First Energy Stadium. I don't think that building is capable of creating the kind of excitement. The teams haven't created the excitement. It's just like a barren wasteland. It's just like it's like Invasion of the Body Snatchers. They'd walk around. They had no personalities because, the pod sucked it right out of them. That's all of the excitement and the fever that should be in a stadium is just not there. And part of it's because it hasn't been with the team, but it's also that it's a cold, barren place. I don't like that park. And
the sound goes straight out too, because there's no roof. There's nothing keeping the sound in. There's nothing whatsoever.
And I'm not going to say anything about kicking except to say, it's hard to kick in that stadium. And it's like, it wasn't hard for Phil Dawson to kick in that stadium, And every guy who came in, and you know who they are. Yep. The kickers who were really good kickers who through the years, they had no trouble kicking field goals in Cleveland. Our kickers had trouble kicking field goals in Cleveland. So I don't want to hear that bullshit. Yeah. Mike Prefer was talking to the press too, which is interesting because I don't know what in the world. What in the world would he have to say? It's like, I'm here to talk about the muffs on the punts, but diving fair catches by Demetric Felton. Yeah. But he did address some of this stuff. He said that he believes that Cade York is going to get a standing ovation from the fans. Now, it's like, Mike, keep your boner in check. That's just not necessary. He's 21 years old. Don't let it get to his head, please. Wow. He also admitted that he was worried when the officials He threw a flag initially on Jacoby Brissett for the pump spike.
Pump spike, yes.
Yeah.
That sounds vulgar. Pump spike.
Yeah. And it would have been a 10-yard penalty and a 10-second runoff. That would have meant a 68-yard attempt and 3 seconds to pull it off.
Yeah.
And
so it's only one pump, not 3 pumps, like in the Key and Peele thing, if you remember that.
Yeah, right. This was, so
this show's going to go off the rails any minute now.
So Prefer was afraid because he doesn't know the rules any better than anyone else. Here's what Prefer said about the elf logo. Are you ready for this? This is his idea of a sense of humor. Ball security, it's bad. The elf is not covering up the tip of the ball. That's the first thing I think of. His hand is back here and the tip of the ball is exposed. I can't believe they're going to put that at the 50-yard line. He will not be our returner. No.
The tip of the ball is exposed. That really sounds creepy.
He also said that Myles Garrett just missed blocking Eddie Pinero's 34-yard field goal that gave the Panthers the lead, that he just missed it.
Missed it. That's really good. It's only counts for hand grenades and horseshoes.
Yeah, he did a swim move, but he came real close. Yep. Now, about Demetric Felton. I know you're all dying to hear about Demetric Felton, and you're saying to yourself, why couldn't he be one of the ones on the injury list? But it's not that simple. Prefer said that Felton, who muffed a punt and mishandled others and averaged 5.8 yards on his 5 punt returns, has to get out of his own head sometimes. Listen to this. Wow. He said Felton is probably trying to do too much. Fucking catch the ball. I don't understand this. I mean, there's 2 things you can do. You can catch the ball. You can run with the ball. You don't have an assignment. You don't have to cover anybody. You don't have to have a specific pattern that you run. You look up in the air, you judge where the ball's coming down, you catch it, and then you try to run with it, or you fair catch it.
Or the other thing you can do is get completely out of the way and let the ball bounce. Yeah, you can do that too.
So he said that Felton is trying to do too much. He knows that they have to avoid him. In other words, the defenders have to avoid him. He does not have to avoid them. By rule, they have to give him a chance to catch the ball. Yeah. Sometimes he's trying to do too much before he catches the ball and thinking too much ahead, 2 steps ahead instead of 1. We will rein it back a little bit. Ball possession, the number one thing he knows, and he knows that. So we're going to rein it back to okay, you don't even have to run it back, just catch it.
Wow.
Now, don't you think that we should have, Jakeem Grant all aside, that we should have had somebody else?
Well, I got a great idea. Let's get Anthony Schwartz back there. He's even worse.
Don't hit me. Don't hit me.
Oh, no, the ball's coming, and there are 11 guys are running after me.
God. No. You think Deshaun Watson, there's a problem with hitting women. Yeah, imagine putting Schwartz back there. That would be more. I'm sorry. Yeah, I won't go any further in that direction.
Rick posted an injury report.
Yeah, I see that. Chris Hubbard out with an illness. I don't know. This guy is sicker than anybody I've ever seen in my life. Chris Hubbard is a guy who gets paid and doesn't play. And then Jack Conklin is still questionable, I guess, with the knee. But they're feeling good that Hudson had a good game last week. Wow. And maybe they don't feel pressured to rush Conklin back after his surgery. So, that would at least make some sense to me.
I'll tell you what, we got linemen that Austin Carr is more healthy. Put Austin.
Oh, my knee.
I gotta block this guy.
Poor Austin Carr. It's like, back when I played the game, there were no surgical equipment. There was nothing. They used knives and bear skins. Yeah. There is no chance for me to come back from that injury. Yeah.
Yeah.
I know. All right.
Oh, Austin.
So here's what Prefer did. He devised a little quiz for Demetric Felton. I asked him in the meeting today, and his answer every time, ball possession, coach, ball possession.
Was he holding the Holton? Oh, that one.
He knows what I'm going to ask him before I ask it. Which way did he go? How can he not know? I mean, it's like.
So is he gonna? I'll ask it anyway. Has he been walking all week holding his balls? Then.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, everybody knows. I mean, and again, I wish that I could just pick up the phone and call Sam Rutigliano and just say, would you explain to these people how you teach players not to fumble and that it all comes from confidence in the player?
Yeah. Putting your arm around his shoulder and say, there, you'll get better. We believe in you and all that. Yeah.
Now get this. The Browns are training other punt returners and hope they get it right. Jerome Ford, who returned a kickoff 29 yards in the game, is not a punt returner, Prefer said.
Okay.
Yep. So, and finally this, if you're feeling really good about, and not that I ever feel very good about Van Pelt, I don't think that Stefanski feels real good about Van Pelt. Van Pelt is 1-0 when he called the plays, and so it will remain. Yeah. He was talking about Jedrick Wills, and he said, Wills had a good debut, but will have his hands full against the aggressive front of the Jets. And now listen to what he's saying. He's just got to keep playing consistent, but he wants to dominate, Van Pelt said. I think there's not many better tackles, and he has it in his body. He's just got to keep grinding it out. If he wants to be the best, I think there's a chance he could be. Let me rephrase this for you.
He's lazy as fuck.
There you go. He's not motivated. He's got it in his body. He just doesn't put out, I know. And I've watched plays
How
where
can
he
we
just
deal with this shit, man.
I don't know.
How can we deal with it?
He brought out a suitcase on one play, packing out there while the play was running. He was ready to come out of the game. Honestly, you watch him, and when you see a guy who's not trying, and the thing about blocking, is you got to hold a block for a certain amount of time, or else it's not worth shit, And it takes coordination of multiple people blocking their assignments, and what Jedrick Wills is doing is he's giving up on plays early. If he doesn't break right through, he doesn't pursue. And he did pursue in his rookie year. That's gone away. So whatever it was that he had is gone. And that's going to be a problem to address as we go on through the year as well.
I got a bold prediction for you. This is one penalty that Jedrick Wills will never be called for. And that's ineligible receiver downfield. It just will never happen. It will never happen.
You know what the problem is? The problem is that Schwartz is an eligible receiver downfield.
Correct.
And that makes it even more difficult. Van Pelt said they're going to try to make every effort possible to get the ball into Amari Cooper's hands. But I mean, you would actually need a quarterback to do that. And, I don't remember any season that Jacoby Brissett played where any of his receivers were anywhere near leading the league in receptions. Okay.
Oh my God. I just had a flash of inspiration. They'll probably do this week. You know how they're going to get Amari Cooper the ball?
Yeah. Triple reverses.
Yeah. The Wildcat. Let's have the fucking Wildcat again. God damn it.
Oh my God.
Amari Cooper running the Wildcat. I've probably broken their game plan. If the Jets are listening to this, we're going to get fucked now.
And then this. Joe Woods, the defensive coordinator, took blame for the 50-yard catch by the tight end. And listen to this. I take responsibility for that, Joe Woods said. That was my fault.
You should have covered the guy better.
Instead of just staying with the group that I had in the game, I tried to change to a different personnel package. And I didn't really clearly communicate that, or I didn't feel like I got the call for us. So I told the guys, that's my fault. It's like, no, that's wrong. Anybody you put on the field should understand what their coverage is.
Yeah.
It's amazing. Joe Woods can just decide on changing whatever the set is out there defensively, but our offensive coordinator can't call plays.
Yeah.
It's a very strange structure that doesn't work. All right. A defensive coordinator is supposed to do what Joe Woods does, and an offensive coordinator is supposed to do more than Alex Van Pelt does. And that's that.
Yeah.
But it's nobody's fault but my own. As for the 75-yard touchdown pass to the invisible Robbie Anderson, in which Greg Newsome got no safety help over the top, Woods attributed it to miscommunication. We cleaned it up, but it was nobody's fault. We've just got to work together better. We got to be better.
Yeah.
That explains it.
That sounds like an award from the Miss America pageant. There's miscongeniality. There's miscommunication. There
you go. Very good. Very good. Misunderstanding.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm on fire today.
Yeah, here's the En Fuego. Here's the story that was the number 3 story on Cleveland.com. All right. Why Ezekiel Elliott
with the bullet.
Why Ezekiel Elliott will run for less than 55.5 yards versus the Bengals. And it's like, who gives a fuck? Why is that the third story in? I'm urging everybody cancel the paywall, the subscription fee for Cleveland.com. Get rid of it. I've had a number of people have written me and said, we did it, Mr. Moohead. And it's like, if nothing goes viral from this show, and why would it? Because
exactly.
I'm just a foul-mouthed, vulgar person. But if you could take one thing away from this program that would go viral, can we please destroy the paywall over at Cleveland.com? Because they're not Cleveland Browns fans. They're not even Cleveland Browns media anymore. They're covering Joe Burrow and the Cincinnati Bengals, and fuck them for it. Because that's just, that's not good. That's not a good thing. Before Demetric Felton has been a big letdown, but he doesn't win my worst player of the week award. Oh no. This guy who pitched for the Guardians, Gaddis.
Oh, I don't know anything about this.
Oh, you don't know anything about it? Well, here's a guy who is a career 4.04 earned run average guy in single A and double A. Okay.
Right. That's good.
And they bring him up and they pitched him the first time and he pitched 3 innings and gave up 8 runs. All right.
Great.
All right. So this time he pitched 4 innings and gave up 7 runs. And he tied a historical record for the team by giving up 5 home runs in one game to the White Sox.
Wow. That's impressive.
You got to really try hard. And I'm sitting there watching this guy, and it's like he has 2 pitches. He has a fastball that doesn't move.
Oh, great.
And he has a changeup that he leaves out over the plate. So it's either 93 miles an hour or it's 80 miles an hour. And if it's not one, it's the other. And you can sit and wait on whatever it is you want. And it reminded me of Eli Morgan. Yeah. And who I'm convinced is really an Amish guy posing in a baseball uniform, because he's another guy. It's either a fastball or a changeup, and he gives up nothing but home runs. So something, and as good as the Guardians have been in evaluating pitching talent, and some guys that have just done a remarkable job for them. This Gaddis guy, could we get rid of him, please? I mean, he's not a big league pitcher, and neither is Eli Morgan. And really, Brian Shaw isn't anymore either. So we really need, if Gaddis is the best guy you have at AAA,
Wow.
you got problems because, we have Savali injured. We've got two of our starting 5 pitchers injured, and we got to have somebody better. We have to.
So this record, who set the record? Because it's got to be somebody we watched when we were children.
Luis Tiant.
Louis Tiant. No shit.
Yeah, he that was in the days where he wasn't turning his back to the hitters when he pitched. I don't know what happened to poor Louis.
I would have guessed Steve Dunning or Mike Paul. Or,
you would think, but no. But it did happen in the old Fenway Park.
Well,
so before he ever pitched, before Tiant went to the Boston, that's where it happened, and that is a park that yields a hell of a lot of dingers.
It does.
So,
that's
no, that wasn't the case with Gaddis. Gaddis, I mean, he could have been in the goddamn in the Houston, what is the park that is dead straight center field in Detroit? 440 feet. And they'd have gone over the wall. I mean, this guy was just, he was serving up batting practice. It was really not good at all.
He was a home run derby pitcher is what you're saying.
Yeah. And here's what the Jets are saying about us.
Oh, I bet it's great.
No, what they're saying about us is going to be a tremendous challenge. It's obviously a different running game. Baltimore is much more deceptive, where this team is much more direct. Everyone knows they're going to run the ball, where the ball is going to be run, and they still run the ball. And they run the ball for a lot of yards. The challenge is going to be whether or not we can stop them. All right? And that's head coach Robert Saleh on stopping the Browns running game. Or is it Saleh? Or is it?
I don't know, but I think he likes throwing the odd bomb.
I have an idea.
Can I say that?
Yeah, if it's Saleh, if that's how you pronounce it, if what I think is going to happen to the Jets this year, I'm going to call it the Cirque du Soleil.
Yeah, the Circus of Soleil. Yeah, I knew you were.
So I had this one figured out. This is too damn easy. And he also said, it looks like Myles Garrett is on a mission. I mean, he looked dirty last week. I'm not going to get into the game plan stuff, but he definitely has everyone's attention. And this is what the defensive end, Carl Lawson, said. They're the same in terms of talent. They're extremely talented. It's crazy when you have, in my opinion, 2 top 10 backs in the backfield. A very hard challenge awaits us. So they're saying all the right things. Joe Flacco, it's a team effort when it comes to that kind of stuff. It's preparing for that. And then everybody coming together on game day and making sure we do our individual jobs. These guys, they're tough. They have a good front, a tough defense, and they make you earn it. That's what he's talking about, Garrett and Clowney specifically. So, again, it's if the Jets have nothing to lose. All right. They stink.
Oh, yeah.
All right.
They're loose.
And they have stunk for some time.
Yeah.
And the same thing can be said for us. All right. Yeah. And the problem with the Jets is they don't have the offensive line that we have. And, and their quarterback's 37 years old. And our guy is 11 years younger. But I swear, though, Jacoby Brissett looks like an old 26, 27 years old to me.
He looks like he came out of he's one of the extras in a Shaft movie, like Richard Roundtree. Yeah, it's like one of those guys, man.
Hard to be a man, but no one understands him but his woman. John Shaft. All right.
That's the one.
Yeah. But, actually, what he kind of reminds me of when I see him getting up slow and walking slowly back to the huddle?
That was Jim Brown that used to do that. Oh,
no. You big dummy.
Yeah, Greg Oden. Yeah. Greg Oden's younger brother, says Rick May.
Yeah, exactly. It's like them bones, them dry bones, them. Yeah, he looks like a guy who's been hit hard a couple of times. So, the Jets are a team that comes in with nothing to lose, and they're coming to beat us. And the Browns can't be thinking, well, we're 1-0. We got through that hurdle. They have to, from the first minute of this game all the way through, take it to them and prove to remind the Jets that they just don't have the caliber of personnel that we have.
Can we have like a Don Criqui preview of the game? Because he'd be announcing this, so it's going to be their like lower tier announcer. And Don Criqui used to always get the shit games and the Bengals games, so he would be doing this one.
Don Criqui. What would he say? And we're back. Back in Shitsville here. I wish I wasn't here.
And it's 120 degrees on the field.
There are no fans left in the stands. Why in the fuck do I have to be here? Don Criqui. But at any rate, I guess it's our job, just like I said with the Panthers, we're a better team. Our personnel, our roster is a better roster than the New York Jets.
It is.
And so, I mean, if it was just like, a game of just bull strength, I mean, we would win. But there's a lot of other stuff that's, they're going to fly through, they're going to start out the game trying to really leave their mark on us early on. And we have to convince them, it's just like a boxing match. I don't even know who said this, but it's got to be the greatest quote in boxing. Okay. And it's like, everybody has a plan until they get hit real hard.
Well, that sounds like a Tyson thing, until they get smashed in the mouth. But
I guess it could have been something I said, yes.
It could have been he said.
Whatever, that's the truth. And you can throw the game plan out. If somebody really starts whooping on you bad, it's easy to get into a negative mindset, and it's equally easy with a 37-year-old quarterback and a fan base who wants Mike White, the third-string quarterback, to be playing. White is a guy who had a 400-yard passing game last year in a win, which was a rare thing for the Jets last year. Not just the 400-yard passing game, but the win. And he's a guy who likes to check down the running backs. He's more of a high percentage, less of a downfield guy, but a higher percentage kind of guy. And believe me, if Flacco stands back there like a statue and eats the ball and gets sacked, we're going to see the backup quarterback. We're going to see Mike White in the game. So I hope we're preparing for both of them.
Well, should we get to our predictions? Because it's getting kind of late.
Yeah, hell. I just, okay, we can start out like this. ESPN on the overall says this. Let's see if I can actually. Moody's pick the Browns 24-16. Walder's pick the Browns 21-13. CBS Pete Prisco, stupid fuck. Pete Prisco, he doesn't like us, but he's picked us 24-13. Most of the people that I and the sites that I went to, like Pro Football Talk, they're saying the Browns are going to win. So we'll start with Coach Wilson. What's going to happen in this game? What do you think the final score? Pro Football Talk, by the way, said 27-17. Go ahead.
They might score a little bit than they did last week, but for the Jets, I'm talking about Browns. Not going to score a crazy amount, I don't think. I just think it's second game for Brissett. Things aren't going to be clicking like crazy, but
Where'd he go?
Oh, sorry.
He's
He
thinking.
froze.
He's thinking.
Uh,
He had a Schwartz
anyway,
moment
yeah,
there.
I had to think about that. Yeah.
He's
I'm gonna
he's
say,
waiting to get hit.
I'm gonna say Browns 23, Jets 16.
Everybody's picking this game very much in the same range. Bronk, what do you think?
Well, I'm gonna give you the scenario of the game here. I think in the first quarter the Browns will be losing. I think the Jets will go out to a lead of something like 13-3 because of some catastrophic fumbled punt, kick, snap, pick six, something along those lines. And the crowd is going to turn on the Browns, and then we're going to come out in the second half and finally run Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt and win 25-16.
All right. And Shubba Wubba Hub says 27-10. Rick May was 27-17. Everyone picking the Browns. And, I'm going to pick the Browns to win as well. The thing is that we have a very narrow ability to score because we don't have the downfield quick strike kind of thing.
I think we're going to wear them out in the fourth quarter. I think the fourth quarter we're probably going to run for 200 yards, but the Jets will be leading at some point in this game. Hopefully not at the end of the game, but they will definitely be leading.
Well, before I give what I think the final score might be, that Chargers Kansas City game, what a gaffe by Herbert. What
did he do?
Oh, he threw a 99-yard pick.
Oh, my God.
His team was in control of that football game. They'd won twice in a row in that stadium, and they were going to do it again. And he was sitting like maybe on the 6-yard line, and he went back to throw, and there was some miscommunication between his wide receiver and himself, and he threw the ball behind the wide receiver right into the arms of a safety who ran the thing back. 7th-round pick, this guy was, and he ran it back 99 yards for a touchdown, and that just changed everything. But, the funny thing is that for the world, they look like the better team out there. And
they are. I think the Chargers are better than the Chiefs.
But their head coach is a real, I don't know, he's a risk taker. Yeah. And the funny part of the game was that Andy Reid played it really close to the vest. He took 3 points to tie a game when he would normally have gone for it with Mahomes under center. But Kansas City doesn't have the big gun wide receivers. I'll tell you, Mike Williams is a fucking beast there from the Chargers. I mean,
wish we had him.
Yeah, I wish we had him too. Big physical guy. And it just seems so strange to watch the Chargers lose that game when I thought that they looked like they were the better team on the field. And I mean, the stadium hushed in Kansas City for most of the game.
Yeah, I noticed that too. Like, just Andy Reid expressed confidence really in his team. Like, okay, we'll take a field goal now, but we're gonna take this away the rest of the game. And I think that was a difference. And then I forget the coach's name, but Chargers coach just not expressing that same
Staley
confidence. Staley. I think that those risk takes are because he doesn't have confidence.
Yeah,
and he feels like he got to gamble. That's my.
He always. It seems that for a game to be turned around with 10 minutes to go, if they'd have scored that touchdown, that really, and their defense was throttling Kansas City.
They're tough. Chargers are tough, man. They're going to
You bet they're tough.
They're going to be good. We have to play them. They're going to rip our asshole.
That game should have turned into a shootout.
Well, everyone thought it would, and it turned out to be a real defensive struggle. But I think the point is that you've got Buffalo, you've got Kansas City, you've got the Chargers. These teams are ahead of the rest of the pack.
Correct.
If you want to put the Ravens in the next tier, feel free. But you can't compare I don't think any team in the AFC North to what those teams are out there. I don't think you can do it.
Well, we play the Chargers in 3 weeks. Now, at this point in time, I would say they would beat us by 3 touchdowns.
Yeah, well, I don't know how in the hell you would stop that quarterback without a tremendous pass rush. And he's a very accurate thrower. And it just was strange. It looked like everything was coming together for them, and it changed with one mistake. And we saw that last week. The Browns this week have to go out, and first of all, Brissett has to play an error-free game again, and he has to play within the framework of what he's comfortable and capable of doing. And
well, he can do that. It's just whether the team around him lets him do that. You just wonder about some of these knuckleheads making a mistake and turning the wrong corner, and Brissett ends up throwing it to the strong side linebacker.
And last year is last year. I think that if you look at the difference
totally
between the
different
Chargers this year and last year, they've beefed up their defense tremendously, Snick. This is not the same Chargers football team on the defensive side of the ball, and they're not going to give up 34 points to Lamar Jackson. That was the problem last year, is that Herbert was in shootouts, and that wasn't one of them, but he was in shootouts throughout the year, and that was why Staley was going for it all the time, because his defense couldn't stop anybody.
Yeah.
And I think now they're in a position where they can do a whole lot more damage. The Browns, on the other hand, cannot afford to make mistakes, and they need turnovers. And we got one from Delpit, but what we need is to strip sack the quarterback. We need to force him into 3rd and longs and take the ball away from him and give Jacoby Brissett the shorter field.
We have to have time of possession. We have to have the ball for 40 minutes of this game.
Brissett is not going to put a lot of 7s on the board if he has to go 75 yards to get there. So we got to give him help. I believe the Browns are going to win this game. I was amazed, really, when I looked up and said, wow, the Browns actually got, this many points, last week. I don't know off the top how many games, what was the final score?
26 something, 26, 24.
24?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
Cade York had 14 of those points. So
exactly right. I'm going to say that let's give us one more because it's the Jets. 27 for the Browns, and the Jets will score 17. So a final score of 27-17. And let's hope that we stay healthy, and we are going into a short week after that, because we got Thursday night football. And I did want to say one thing before I get out of here about the Amazon Prime broadcast of the game. It was very interesting that all the commercials were Amazon Prime commercials. I mean,
if you've already bought Amazon Prime, why do you need a commercial to buy Amazon Prime?
Because you got to buy shit from Amazon, and they're going to deliver it to your door. I have no idea. Enough. There's never enough.
Do they deliver pizza now in America? I mean,
I wonder. I mean, I was wondering, if you can get herpes from them. I mean, if they just send you an envelope that's been licked by somebody with herpes, and then they just send it to you.
Well, they used to have unheated warehouses. I don't know whether they still do, until people started dying amongst the workforce. They had to put heaters in their warehouse.
But there were 3 broadcasts that you could choose from. One was the, yes.
Tongue cricky.
No, it was, do you believe in miracles? Yes. Him. Okay.
Al Michaels or whatever. Yeah.
Right. And he was with Herb Street.
Not Herb Street. Oh,
yeah, Herb Street, the college announcer.
Did he say tempo a few times?
A few. But there was a 3rd broadcast by some guy who I've never heard of. Everybody said that the younger people who were watching liked that broadcast. The thing that I liked about what they were doing is when the thing would go to commercial, if you popped in and you were late to the game,
yeah,
on my remote control, you hit the up button and it would bring up the timeline of the game, including highlights.
Oh, that's
and you just
cool.
scroll down. It's like if there was a touchdown that you missed, and you'll runs in real time, streams the replay for you. And I thought that was pretty slick. I thought that was, so you don't watch the commercials anyway. You just run through that and say, let's see if I missed anything. I thought that was kind of cool.
They have that here in the Premier League where you can go back and there's a little timeline at the bottom of the screen. You can go move your slider to where the goals are or where the red cards happen or stuff like that. It's a similar probably kind of thing.
But it was nice. I've got Amazon Prime, and I'll be watching it again on Thursday. But very little
Browns
time
are
to
on
get ready.
that. The Browns on that next week then.
Yes, that's going to be where they are playing the Steelers. So I think that that's and when Florio picks the Browns 24-10, I say that we have the best chance of winning. So
Well, if Rich Eisen picks the Browns, then we're definitely fucked.
Now, there is one more thing before I go. I keep saying this. I sound like Steven.
Steven's dad. No, Steven's dad's got a question here.
Steven's dad, yeah. Stifler's mom. This is the big ESPN NBA Insiders headline. 5 big questions we can't wait to see answered in the NBA in 2022 and 2023. All right. Will all be well in Brooklyn with KD and Kyrie and Simmons? Fuck you. I don't care about that. All right. Next. What's next for Russ, Patrick Beverley, and the Lakers? Patrick Beverley's a fucking,
how old is he anyway?
He's a mummy. He comes from the Egyptian era, for Christ's sake. His last name is Tutankhamun.
Wow.
Yeah.
You wrap that one up.
Why do I care about the goddamn Lakers? All right. That's number 2. Number 3. Lonzo Ball and Chris Middleton injuries. And that's, well, of course, that's the Bucks because, that's Giannis's team.
You need to do this with Andrew Dice Clay's voice.
Oh!
Oh!
Oh, my God. Are the Warriors youngsters ready to step up? It's like, God damn it. The Warriors.
Wow.
Shooting down the walls of heartache. Bang, bang,
bang.
God damn it. So, this is what the NBA is, It's like the same shit, different year. And I'm looking forward to watching every Cavaliers game. And I want to tell people there is a lot more going on than the soap opera in Los Angeles or Steph Curry and that whole situation. And God forbid, the Brooklyn Nets, who I could care less about, Mr. Flat Earth and Mr. I couldn't win a championship unless I was in Golden State.
Philadelphia
enough.
And Milwaukee, they can all fuck themselves.
Yeah, there has to be, if one of the 5 big questions has to be about an up-and-coming team. Say, they just play it so close to the vest of the NBA. It's the same story. It's just, over and over and over again. You got to excuse me because I'm on season 4 of binge watching The Sopranos, and I'm sick of soap opera. I just watched the goddamn thing to see a couple guys get hit in the head with pipes or shot through the head or whatever. And, and Topaz, my dog, loves that.
Topaz.
Whenever there's a violent scene in The Sopranos, he runs to his hedgehog toy and starts thrashing it, and he acts out the violence that's playing on screen. That's really remarkable.
That is disturbing.
I know. It's the funniest thing. It makes me laugh. So The Sopranos is like a comedy for me now. But it gets to be predictable after a while. You see a good-looking woman and said, okay, that's the new Gumar. That's the new girlfriend for Tony, and Tony's going to fuck her. And it's like, this is what the NBA is like. I want something unpredictable. And I'm cheering for a team that has a young base. Let's see how the Cavs do. And it might be good. It might be mediocre. It may be underperforming, but, we'll see.
There you go.
All right. But Gaddis, please send him back down to the minor leagues. Please. I beg of you. If I have to watch one more Guardians game with this guy or Eli Morgan in there, tell Eli Morgan he's got to plow the back 40. I've had enough. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in to this edition of Moohead Radio. But, the game is just around the corner, and we'll be with you. It's a 1 o'clock start, so we'll be with you at halftime and postgame to talk you off the ledge if things aren't going well, or to, like last time, be fiestivating after a 58-yard field goal with the clock counting down. So, everybody, have a real good weekend. Ohio State and Toledo.
Oh yeah, that's an evening game because that'll get a big audience.
Yeah, I know. That's what Don Crickey's going to be doing. And everybody enjoy your weekend, and I'll see you on Sunday. Until then, hasta la vista, Pastor Heads. Good night.
God save the king, man. God save the king.